Yes, you did. You made it weird.
What is happening, weirdos? This is Melissa Rauch. Rauch Pouch, as I like to call her. Melissa and I most recently worked together on the upcoming reboot, or it's not a reboot, it's a continuation, I guess, of the original Night Court, which is also called Night Court. But we knew each other a long time ago on a little show, on a little ditty about Jack and Diane called Best Week Ever, which was one of my first gigs ever, which we get into as well. But you also may know her from Big Bang Theory or just comedy in general. She is a delight. I'm so excited you guys are here. I really, really loved this episode. And only a couple things to plug up top. First of all, a thanks to every weirdo that came out to the shows in Chicago at the Den. It was some of the best shows of the tour. I've really, really loved my weekend in Chicago. So thank you to everybody that came out. Next up is San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, Atlanta, Charlotte, and Washington, D.C. Go to PeteHolmes.com for tickets to those, and hopefully I'll be adding more cities soon. So PeteHolmes.com if you want to come see about me. What? Who references the song Come See About Me? That is ridiculous. If you like this show, despite its references to the oldies song Come See About Me, why not try a Pete's Pick? The best way to support the show is to try one of our beloved sponsors like our friends at Mint Mobile. This holiday season, the best deal in wireless can only be found at Mint Mobile. Right now, when you switch to Mint Mobile and buy a 3-month plan, you'll get another 3 months for free. As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you order and activate from home with eSIM while saving tons on phone plans starting at just $15 a month. The first time I read this, I was like, that's a typo. It's $15 a month. You could be saving so much money, and the holiday season is a wonderful time to maybe gift a Mint Mobile thing. The 3 months free holiday deal is an incredible time to seize the opportunity. Mint Mobile's best offer of the year is here. For a limited time, buy any 3-month plan and get 3 months free by going online only with eSIM and eliminating the traditional costs of retail. Mint Mobile passes those significant savings on to you. All plans come with unlimited talk and text and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and switch easily and effortlessly with eSIM. Or if you need a new device for a limited plan, get 6 months of free service when you buy a select device and plan. Just so switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. Again, guys, for a limited time, buy any 3-month Mint Mobile plan and get 3 months free by going to mintmobile.com/weird. That's mintmobile.com/weird. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/weird and show your support of the show. The other Pete's Pick to mention here up top, no surprise that I'm wearing it. For those of you watching this on video, this is my Apollo Neuro. You guys know I am nuts about Apollo Neuro. It's the gift we give most frequently to kids, to grown-ups. I absolutely love it. It is a game changer. What is it? It is a piece of wearable tech that helps your body recover from stress. It can help you relax, sleep, focus, and be more productive. It's like a wearable hug for the nervous system, using touch therapy to help you feel safe and in control. I wear mine on the wrist. Val wears hers on her ankle. I like wearing it. I like telling people about it because it helps so many of my friends. Apollo Neuro delivers gentle, soothing, I would say even almost sub-perceptual vibrations. You don't notice that it's doing it other than how you feel, that train your nervous system to recover and rebalance after stress. So for example, when I was just in Chicago, on the plane, the whole time I just have it rocking on Relax and Unwind. There's so much stress on your body, the pressurized cabin, the up and the down, and the length of the flight. Having it on Relax and Unwind the whole ride helps me exactly relax and unwind. But it's just this little electronic reminder to your body, like relax, shh, shh, shh. relax, 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 and helps you ease into your situation. So it sends those vibrations that can help you with energy and wake up. You'll feel that one. That one is not perceptual. It's like espresso, but on your wrist. Social and open is a wonderful setting. It's usually what I have it on when I'm recording podcasts like these. Clear and focused has been shown to help combat some of the symptoms of ADD, ADHD. Rebuild and recover, incredible after a workout or perhaps a trying phone call with your parents. Meditation and mindfulness. I always say if it only helped you meditate as deeply as it helps me meditate, I would be shouting it from the rooftops. But that's just one of the settings. But meditation and mindfulness, you don't even have to be meditating to put it on that. Sometimes I'll just put it on that when I'm walking around the park and I want to drop into my body a little bit more easily. Relax and unwind, as I mentioned, and sleep and renew. I sleep with it on. The only time I charge it is when I'm in the shower. That's all I really need. And when I wake up in the middle of the night, sometimes for Leela, or to go to the bathroom to get back in bed, push these two buttons, it reruns the program and lulls me back to sleep. Just as a sleep kit, as a sleep tool, I guess I mean, Apollo is absolutely worth it, but it does all of those things. Actually training your nervous system to cope with stress better over time. The more you use it, the better it works. And I always like to point out, this is not sold in crystal shops. This is hard science. It was developed by a neuroscientist and board-certified psychiatrist who've been studying the impacts of chronic stress in humans for nearly 15 years. And Apollo's effects on sleep, stress, cognitive performance, and recovery have been proven in multiple clinical trials and real-world studies. So this is not woo-woo. This is the real deal, and I absolutely love it. You can get 10% off and show your support of the show by going to apolloneuro.com/weird. That's APOLLONEURO.com/weird for 10% off and to show your support of this show. All right, everybody, enjoy Melissa Rauch, one of my favorite chats in a long time. She's a delight. Can't wait for you to watch or listen. Hopefully both. Don't watch this on mute. It won't make any sense. Get into it. If there's ever been a guest that was right for the couch.
This is perfect.
Like you can, like the little baby bird you are. Yes!
This is a little nook.
I didn't know until I saw it that I've been waiting for that.
This is a perfect little nook.
Look at all the pillows. You can have a little fort. See, it's supposed to be like a little sleepover.
Just, what can you see of me? This is lovely.
I don't mind it at all. See, that's what I want. We have you can tell a lot about a person. Like I watch comedians in cars getting coffee just to see what they order for breakfast. Like that's
yes.
like the main thing I'm interested in. Like I don't really care like what Steve Harvey's favorite car is, or you know what I'm saying? Like that's fine.
But breakfast,
I want to know what he orders. I want to see how he orders it and what he orders. Not just Steve Harvey, all of them. And with the guests on our show, I really like to see their relationship to the Nissan Verano. That's the name of the couch.
I love that.
It's a Crate and Barrel Verano.
Okay.
But it sounds like a car to me, so I call it the Nissan Verano.
How did I do?
This is it. This is a dream.
Okay.
Like no smoke blown.
I could have messed it up.
No, nobody's wrong.
Because I could have perched. Because
You
a
could
lot of
perch.
times, like when I go to meetings and stuff, because my feet don't reach the floor.
Yeah.
A lot of times when I go to meetings, so I sit on the edge so that I'm not sitting like this the whole time. Which is very embarrassing as a grown woman to be talking business and just your legs doing a dangle.
Like a ventriloquist dummy.
It's not great. So I'm very awkward in meetings because I'm often just perching on the edge.
Yes.
I have a choice. I could dangle or just perch.
How do you
this
find
is great.
it being a we? Because I'll tell you this. Yeah, let's get Scottish.
Okay.
When you pulled up, I don't think when I think of you, I don't think of you as a very small
You don't?
person. No. I mean, I know you are, but then I guess let's put it this way. Every time I see you, I go like,
You're surprised by
it's more, even more. Or I
you
should say
also
it's even
see,
less.
You oftentimes see me in heels too.
Yeah.
And today I'm not at all.
Even that.
Yeah.
But I like seeing regular Rauch.
Thank you.
Normal Rauch.
Thank
How's
you.
your
I
day
appreciate
today? How are you feeling today?
Today.
Like, how's your morning?
It's a good day. I
Is
feel
it?
I was excited to see you.
I'm excited to see you too.
So yeah, I think it's a good day.
I don't like. I woke up and felt just to give you an example of how much minutia I'm interested in.
Tell me.
This is how safely you can. I woke up and I was like, we traveled. We were in New Mexico with Leela. We brought Leela, and she's 4 now, and it was the first trip we've taken where it still felt like a vacation because she slept in one of the mornings and we were like, what is happening?
That's amazing.
It was we turned a real corner. But
That's
then
great.
I'm 43. I mean, Hollywood years, I'm 27. Like, is that even a thing anymore?
You're ageless. You are ageless.
Get
you are.
real.
You're a boy forever.
Get real.
You are.
But
You're the Peter Pan of comedy.
Oh, Peter Pan Holmes.
Did I just coin you a new name?
I think you did.
I'm very
Pan
excited
Holmes.
about it.
Just
Pan
drop the
Holmes,
Peter,
that's
just
it.
Pan Holmes. But I like just traveling, just one little flight. It's like an hour and a half, and I'll wake up the next day, and the altitude difference and stuff, and I'm just like, I said to Val this morning, I was like, I feel oppressed, like I just feel squished. But then
That's a good descriptor word.
oppressed is
Yeah.
a good one. Like you just kind of feel squished.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's how I was feeling. And then I had a little bit of Chaffee, and I had a Magic Mind. I got one out if you want it. Did I ever give you this on? This is not product placement. This is my
What is
favorite thing
this?
in the world. You absolutely don't have to drink it, although it
me.
is your size.
That is.
That looks like just like
I
you got a
only
juice.
eat and drink things. This.
You just went to like a juice
Exactly.
store and got like a large juice.
But I only eat tiny things to make me feel like a normal sized person.
That's-
like chicken wings.
That is perfect. When you go to medieval times, they give you a chicken wing.
Oh.
Let me ask you, how are you with these small jokes? Because I
Oh,
really
I'm
don't
great
want you
with
to
them.
feel uncomfortable.
No, it's my comfort zone. It's totally my comfort
It's a
zone.
tiny
it feels
little
like
zone.
So
That has a little bit of matcha, 35 milligrams of caffeine, but it also has nootropics and adaptogens.
you told me about this
Are you
stuff.
into adaptogens just in general? Because they're real game changers.
I gotta say, because now they're coming out with all of these adaptogen
It's in
drinks,
everything.
right?
It's in everything now.
Like doing pseudo wines with the.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you mean like non-alcoholic ones?
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen those. Val
Yeah.
likes those.
I'm very interested. I haven't tried one yet, and I'm excited.
They really
to-
make you. I
she
would
like them?
recommend that
Really?
pre-pod. It's nice, but you certainly don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah, don't feel. You can
that's
just put it there and
exciting.
take it with you if you don't
I
want
am.
to try it.
But here's my only concern.
Yes,
because of
I'm
my
very
size.
drunk.
I'm
Yeah.
already stoned out of my mind.
You also seem very alert and ready to go, so maybe you don't need it.
It's only because I'm excited to see you. But
Love.
because I have deal with this size,
We talked
get
about this.
so jacked
On caffeine.
On caffeine. I've cut out caffeine because I
Okay.
will.
Color me embarrassed because I offered you one of those on set and you said the same thing. But
oh,
you're
okay.
very sensitive to caffeine.
Yes.
Because
And
you're
I-
a wee one.
Yeah, and didn't used to be. I felt I built up my tolerance in my 20s.
Yes.
And now, since I cut it out, if I have like a green tea, I'll talk a mile a minute. You will not want to hear from
I
me.
believe it. Let me ask you this then, because we did do a show. Maybe we can't even say. I don't know what we can say. We can?
We can say.
Evening court.
Night court.
Night court. I call it evening. Night court. Oh, can you
So
close that just
wonderful,
while the
and it-
trash is here? Katie, sorry. Thank you. Please and thank you. How do you get in the zone? Because you're such a great performer.
Oh, that's so
You're
nice.
wearing
Thank you.
17 sombreros, and you would always show up consummate professional. What is your routine if it's not getting jacked on
Oh,
caffeine?
interesting.
Like, what are you doing? Are you exercising? Are you meditating? Are you trying? Or are you just a momentum person, like thing to thing to thing to thing, and you like staying in that like upbeat
This
place?
is such a good question.
Deal with it. Just deal with it.
I need to get back into meditation. I used to be like 2 times a day meditation.
Girl, same.
Same?
And why? Every time I do it, I go, "Oh, this is the best."
Why am I
Why
not-
don't I not do it?
Exactly.
That's what Val and I say constantly.
Yeah, and it's so true. Whenever I go back to it, I'm like, oh, this is everything. My brain is recharged.
Yep.
I feel great.
Yep. I think it's because it's called meditating, which sounds like mediating. You know, it's not
Yeah.
a good word.
That's so
snuggling with
true.
infinity. That's better.
You do it all day.
You snuggle
Can't
with
wait to do it.
spooning with the Lord. I'm just kidding. Let's
This
not
is
deify it.
great.
Right? I
Yeah.
try to say like recharging is a better
that's
way
good.
to put it.
That is good.
Relaxing.
Yes.
Like active relaxing.
Oh, that's good. Pre-kids, I was so
Good.
so good about it, and I
Yes.
think I am terrible with any sort of like me time.
Yeah.
So I need
you-
to get better about that.
I saw that you're a helper person. Like you like helping. You like engaging. I
do like a
You like getting involved, like in all these beautiful ways. And didn't we talk a little bit about that on set that you do maybe not struggle, but like you don't necessarily take care of yourself first.
Yes.
You're like number 9.
That is true.
You're number 1 on the call sheet at Night Court. You're number 9 on the life call sheet. There's
That's
like
true.
A lot of people you're
I
taking care
really
of.
need to get better about it.
Well, do you? I mean, are you okay? Are you feeling?
I'm fine, and I'll say I need to get better about it, but I won't.
You won't.
No,
'Cause
that
you
is a
love it.
false promise.
Yeah.
I think I like if it's focused on me, I think it'll cause me more anxiety.
It's a way of deflecting.
Yeah, like
By the way, deflecting doesn't mean like avoiding, like don't look at me, I'm disgusting.
Yeah.
You're more comfortable serving than being
I think I have like I'll worry too much about the people in my life if I feel like all attention isn't on, like that everyone's needs aren't met. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. It is unique, right? I mean, I'm going to relate. I'm a little bit that way. I like to receive attention. I need attention. We all need attention. I don't mean even in the razzle dazzle showbiz way, but I want it on my own terms. Like that's why I like stand up and it's like, I will be the center of attention at this time for 15 minutes. Yes. That's good. The rest of the time, depending on my mood, old Petey, it's a roll of the dice. Sometimes it's real, like introverted, not like necessarily grumpy, but it can be a little bit grumpy. And then there's other times when I'm dropping Leela off at school and I'm hugging everybody and flipping the kids and stuff. Like, I don't know which one's going to show up.
That's interesting.
But I like comedy because it goes like, be the attention person now. I wonder, do you benefit from having a job that gives Melissa a little attention?
That's really, I never thought about it, but you're absolutely right.
Because it's a safe and good way to get it.
Yes, and I feel like I'm exactly the same way. The control of like on my own terms.
Yes.
Because I obviously I love performing, and that was always like, as a kid, I was a super shy kid. So that was sort of my way of expressing myself, like you said, in a way of I can control this.
Yeah.
Versus like on the play, like I was a weird kid who on the playground, like I was like, can I do an impression for you? Like that was my way to make a
By
friend.
the way, when Winston sees that, I'm projecting onto you. Let me just, without getting your husband into this. When Val sees doughy, red-faced little Pete, and she loves him so much. She never got to meet him. But as you were saying that, I was like, I love little Melissa so much.
That is,
and I relate
that.
so much to like, not sweaty bad, but like I was like that too.
Yeah.
I wanted to send out little sonar pings and be like, this is what Alf sounds like to me. Do you hear him this way?
Yes,
and also I wanted a little specialness. I wanted a little recognition.
Exactly.
Identity. I wanted some identity.
Yes, like show and tell is like, oh, I could do a tight 10 here.
You are killing.
And that was like, I was so excited for my show and tell day. But then I would be like just a wallflower the rest of the...
I completely get it. It's like bursts.
Yes.
It's like nitro bursts.
Yeah,
that you can do it, and then the rest of the time you're kind of, I'm a real empath. I'm absorbing a lot. I get, the more older I get, the more I realize like I'm overwhelmed. All of this is like code for like kind of an overwhelmed person, just kind of going like, geez, there's so many faces in this room and different volumes and like they just misunderstood them and that would like charge me or pull the bow back, the string back on the bow. And then when it was my time, I razzle dazzle, and then you go back to recharge mode. I'm interested that you were shy though, because it wasn't I read that your bat mitzvah was Melissa's Comedy Club
I
theme?
love that you read that.
I read it all.
That's amazing.
No,
Did my
please.
mother write the bio for me? That's
I
amazing.
mean, your mom might be logging on to
That's
Wikipedia
amazing.
and adding a few things.
That is very true.
Tell me where that, because when I
love
read
that
that,
you read
I
that.
melted. I died.
love that. You
Tell
knew
me, you already knew you liked comedy. You're 13 years old.
Yes.
And you already knew you liked comedy, even though
Yes.
you said you were shy and weird.
Yes.
And you
all
wanted
of
to
the
do
above.
it. Tell me
I
everything.
think, okay, so I remember my first laugh was
Oh my God.
6 years old, 6 or 7, watching Three's Company, and my parents being like, you need to go to bed. And I did a Don Knotts impression for my dad.
No.
Like just like to stall to go to bed. And I started imitating Mr. Furley. And my dad, who's not like a huge laugher, like stopped in his tracks, huge belly laugh. And then I didn't go to bed. And so every time Three's Company, and I was like, what is this? Laughter at what I'm doing. And then that became my obsession. Like I was obsessed with TV. So then watching whatever shows we were watching at the time, Jack Hay on 227.
I remember thinking like, I never had, I think the gender gap was hard for me to get over
Sure.
maybe, or I didn't think it was appropriate or something. But I remember being like, I bet I could do that voice. if I
Interesting.
tried.
I mean, she was brilliant.
Yeah, of course.
And so I was just entranced by her. So that was like picking out people to imitate. And then I couldn't like get my hands on a talent show in like the middle of New Jersey.
I couldn't get my
And I just
hands on a
wanted to do,
talent
because I was
show.
watching Star Search and I saw stand up for the first,
Obsessed.
obsessed. And I saw someone doing like a stand up of impersonations. I mean, like, what is this
Yes,
job
yes.
that you just stand up there and make people laugh?
Yes. And then they reward you, and there's a drum roll,
Yes.
4.5 stars. And you're
Exactly.
like, what? People keep telling me to shut up.
Totally. And they're getting stars. Like, this
They
is
get
amazing.
stars and money.
Yeah.
I forget what the prize was, $20,000 or something. It was like
that sounds right.
a big deal.
Yeah.
And all that. I was like, they're instantly famous. And kind of at the time, you sort of were in the
Yeah.
80s. If you were on Star Search,
Big time.
big deal. Bigger than like
Big deal.
these
There was
days.
a kid dance duo. I still remember their names, Heinz and Keisha.
Oh, I know Heinz and Keisha. I'm just kidding. They did this podcast. Keisha
If
is
I
a
knew that Keisha had sat in this chair,
rageaholic.
that makes sense. I seriously, like, my heart would be racing so hard if you told me Heinz and Keisha were walking through that door.
Love, need, yes. The
Can we track them
heroes
down?
of our childhood.
Yes.
Because you saw them on Star Search?
I saw them on Star Search. My brother and I would imitate this. They did an amazing dance duo together, and we still, like, when we get together at parties, we're like Heinz and Keisha, and we will do like the lifts and
No.
yeah.
Is your brother a similar stature?
He is
Because I really want to picture him exactly your size.
He is. He's the tallest one in my family, I think, at 5'5" or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your belly laughing dad is also a wee man.
A wee man, probably like 5.5. And
Wow.
maybe his feet were dangling off the couch.
I am dead.
time.
And I love that you remember it. And you said your dad's not a good laugher. Sometimes I've heard it said that the recipe for talent is to have one parent who gives you all of the love and to have one parent that's a little bit harder of a self.
interesting.
You can say withholding.
Yeah.
And that was certainly true in
true
my
for
house.
you?
My mom still is just a TCBY soft serve. All she gives is premium black and white ice cream.
Really? And-
Constant love. And my dad is just a little harder to impress. I don't want to say he's not loving.
Yes.
But if I make my dad laugh, I made my dad laugh once recently. I figured out how to make my dad laugh when I was like 40.
Really? And what's the way in?
Do an impression of him.
Really?
It's the only way. In fact, I'll say that's the only way.
And,
It's
like,
not a way.
That's
The only way.
fascinating.
So I'll put on his clothes, I put on his hat, and I'll cut. This is me. To be honest, I was probably like 35 or something.
Okay.
And I would go, you can do a deep dive on, I'm telling the listeners if they want to see it, it's on my Instagram many years ago. But I would go up to my dad and be like, Bill Belichick was a fucking god. And he just starts dying laughing. So I took a screen grab of that
amazing.
Instagram and framed it. That's how much, still a baby boy.
That's incredible.
Still wanting papa.
Always.
Always wanting
Forever.
papa. But that
To the day
kind
you die,
of,
you'll be chasing it.
that's what I'm saying. But do you feel that was sort of good? Because then you
Yeah.
went into the clubs and oh my God, there's papa. He's split into
Totally.
75 drunk people, but it's still fucking
It's still
papa.
it's always papa.
And if it's mom, TV taping,
Yes.
night court audience, that's mom.
Totally. 1,000%.
Comedy club coming up.
Yes.
It's papa all the way to mama.
That is so true. That is so true. And you know, my parents would come to, they started coming to my open mics. Like
They did?
They are so uber supportive. It's crazy. Even though still harder to impress, all the bringer shows front and center.
Wow.
Unbelievable. But still watching him in the front row, I'm like,
He was like that.
yeah, I
Like
think he'd
not
laugh,
as
but
not
like,
as big.
yeah.
Probably analyzing it.
Yes.
I couldn't do that. My dad surprised me and showed up. I just did the Wilbur in Boston and
Oh.
he showed up even though I literally, and this is sort of, it's not sad. I'm worried it's
Yeah.
going to sound sad. I tell my parents, I forbid you to come. You can't come.
okay.
Different dynamic.
Got it.
Meaning
got it.
I'm trying to be grown man. I want to be free. I don't want to be
Yeah.
afraid.
Yeah,
And I want
I
to make
so
fun
get
of
it.
them and I
Of
want to
course.
joke around and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking, there's dirty stuff and whatever it is, but it's really like my dad's energy is so big to me. He really is like a monolith or something.
Okay.
That I don't feel like there's room for me if he's there as well. Like
Yeah.
it's weird. It's hard
I
to
so
describe.
get that.
But you did the opposite. You were doing your bringer shows. So bringer shows for people that don't know, you had to bring how many?
Like usually between like 7 and it could be up
See,
to.
I never had 7 friends, so I never did one. I
gosh,
would have
awful.
done one.
Yeah, they
It's
were
not like I was above it.
awful. I think
7 paying guests, by the way, is $500.
Yeah. And it's like I was in college at the time when I started. So I went through my dorm, like within
Everybody.
everyone. It was a good thing I was in college, but still, like you're asking college kids to like cough up a 2-drink minimum. And
Yes.
Yeah.
And even if you get Cokes, which we all did, because
Yeah.
there were certain mics in New York that you'd have to get 2 drinks, get 2 Cokes. Suddenly, somehow you're paying with tip
Yeah.
$12 or something.
Yeah.
And you're like, I didn't have $12. I just ate shit. I just ate shit in front of 5 other comedians, and I had to buy
no one's
2
paying
Cokes.
attention.
They didn't even drink the second Coke.
Awful.
I used to try and talk to you're reminding me, I was like, can I just give you, the waitress, can I just give you $5?
Yeah.
Like, I actually knew somebody that when they did bringers, they would, oh good, a spam risk is calling me twice. My phone is on Do Not Disturb, now it's off. Thank you, spam risk, for calling back. Oh, I got his voicemail.
He's
Don't
going to
worry.
want to hear from me.
He's going to need to hear about this light bulb deal. Or let's be honest, it's going to be in a foreign language. I get a lot of foreign
Do
language
you?
ones. Yeah. I don't know what
I
list
get a
I'm
lot
on.
of like, you need to call us back with your social security number ones.
Can we just have a moment of silence for all the sweet floral nightgown grannies that get a call that are like, this is Amazon. You bought a $3,000 drone. Call us now. And you can cancel it. Why wouldn't they call?
Why?
They grew up in a time where you could get cream on credit at the grocery store. I'll get you next time. They trust everybody.
Of course.
And now they're going to lose their hat.
I really like mourn for future me because I know
What's it gonna be?
that I will be, I mean,
You and I are going to be
Ruben.
so confused.
so I'm
gonna-
confused now.
I am confused now.
Yeah.
No shit. And I'll put on whatever Zuck is having us wear, put on some sort of visor, and then I'm going to see fucking Robert Redford dressed as the natural because they know deep in my psyche, there he is. And he's like, Wonder Boy says, you owe me $30K. And I'm like, I do? And I'm going to be bankrupt and my kids are going to be like, what an idiot. He didn't know the natural spam? That's
They
spam,
just saw him
Dad.
coming a mile away.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. It's
Okay.
happening to me.
We were talking about your parents, and it sounds like your dad was loving and kind and coming to the shows just a little bit harder to please. I don't want to put words in your mouth. So that gave you that thing. They came to your bringers, but way before that, when you were 13, tell me about the bat mitzvah.
Okay, so leading up to that,
You got your first laugh.
got my first laugh. Then there was, after the Star Search looking for a talent show, there was a beauty pageant that came to town. Was not a child who should be entered in a beauty pageant. It was a Cinderella scholarship pageant, I believe. And I got the brochure and it was like, I saw on their
You're
talent
Little Miss
competition.
Sunshine.
It's very similar.
You
yes.
entered because you wanted to do the talent. Where I think, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a lot of the times it's like, I'm beautiful. Oh, God damn
We
it,
got to
there's
do
a
the
talent.
talent. Yes. Yes.
That's why you
and
see
that's
a lot
very
of...
much like
Yeah.
I was surrounded by child beauties.
Well,
beauties.
come on.
And I was wearing the dress that I wore for my uncle's wedding.
I'm dead.
And like no teeth. And my mom said if I saved up my money, like she would meet me halfway. And if I paid for half, she would pay for half. So we did it.
How much was it? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
But enough that you were
Enough that I was,
splitting.
because I think she knew I would embarrass myself. So she was like, I'm going to.
She was trying to stop you.
Trying to stop me.
If you can get $250, you're like, I had
do
no
it.
teeth.
Do it.
All set.
Let's go.
Let's go. Oh, fuck.
It was terrible. But my parents are wildly supportive. Like, if I had told them I wasn't going into this business, I think they would have been, like, my dad, as reserved
Shocked.
as he is, was like, there's no job security in anything. He's a CPA, like, very by the book, but had a lot of job losses over the year from company downsizing. So he was very much like, follow your dreams. There's no job security in anything, which is amazing.
That's beautiful, by the way.
Really great.
It's one of my favorite lines of Office Space where they go, they're working at Initech and they don't like it. And they go, he's trying to say, we need to get out of here. And he goes, can you imagine if we're doing this in 20 years? And then one of the guys goes like, it would be awesome to have that kind of job security. And you realize that it's a myth. It's like doing something that sucks doesn't guarantee you're going to get to do it.
That is so true.
Isn't that
I
brutal?
forgot about that moment.
So your
You're
dad
right.
knew that.
My dad knew that. So he was very, very supportive, as was my mom. So I did the talent competition, which was me doing impressions. And that was like, I'm hooked. I'm a comedian. I am.
And you did all of it.
I did. Yeah, I did. I mean,
was there like catwalking?
Oh yeah, and I didn't know. Like you see me on the video, like just walking around a circle, and like someone be like on this side of the stage, on this side of the stage.
Oh my God.
Like, had to
I
do,
forgot
like-
to ask, how old?
6 or 7.
6 or 7 Rauch pouch?
Yeah. I'll see
With
if
no
I can find
teeth?
it. Yeah.
Oh my God, yes, please.
But
They're trying to shepherd you over
like,
here.
this
You're
way,
like,
kid.
this is done. No, it's not yet.
Not yet. This is not your moment.
Yes.
And it was like a weekend, like a full weekend. Like each day was another. So like I like waded through the like dress wear, and then there was a sportswear. And
Yes.
my mom was like, I remember sitting here in the office, just like, so
God bless her.
mortified that I was going to. But she was also, when it came time to talent day, she was like, and they didn't really know what I was going to do.
Your parents or everybody?
My parents were like, I kept on saying I was going to do impressions and stand up, but I hadn't really showed it to
At
them.
6?
Yeah. And then
You're like getting a 10-year jump on Dave Chappelle. You're like, I'm 6.
let me do it. And that was it. Like I still remember the judges and their faces when they were laughing because because I had only done it for my family.
Worked?
It worked. And I won the talent competition.
Of course you did.
And
what was number 2? A woman shooting an
like an
arrow
amazing
into a
dancer.
bag of flour. Oh,
Because
really?
they were all like pageant kids, like really great.
Okay, so you smoked some real competition.
It was because I was, and I'm saying this in not a way to brag. It was so weird.
Yeah.
What I was doing was so weird.
I thought you were going to say unbearably cute.
It was cute.
It stood out,
but
though.
It was weird. Like, I remember the judges looking at each other, that look that you get as a kid when you're old enough to know that people they're like confused by you.
Yep.
And I remember seeing that look, like the judges looking at each other and laughing, but being like, what is this?
What is this?
And so it really was like a winning out of, this is the weirdest thing we've ever seen in suburban New Jersey.
And it had to have been good, too.
It was, to an extent.
What impressions did you do?
Started with Mr. Furley, and everything was like...
You're classic. You opened with the big hit.
Opened with Furley, yeah.
Opened
my
strong.
original. That was like my original joke. So it was very much like, my next impersonation is going to be Mr. Furley from Three's Company. And then I take a minute. Next impersonation is going to be... it was a lot of just... I remember the other moms, like the faces on the other moms, just like kind of giggling. And I remember that also, like they're not laughing with me.
Oh.
Like I remember clocking that, but then looking at the judges who were actually laughing with me and my parents beaming like that. My dad just doubled over with pure pride.
You got all 3. You got the laughing in the wrong way, which still hurts my feelings. It still
not
happens.
okay.
I'm like,
Does it really?
Occasionally.
I wouldn't.
I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
I'm going to check myself.
Okay.
I think I already wrecked myself, but I'm going to check myself post-wrecking.
Okay.
Which a lot of people don't know you can do.
You can do it.
You can check yourself
It's
at
a
any point.
You can.
It's nice
It's a
to do it
self-respect
before you
wreck.
wreck yourself. But even if you wreck yourself, just go ahead and check yourself. Say, hey, why did I just wreck myself?
You know what? I actually think it's better to do a post-check after a wreck.
Yes.
Right?
It's the best time to check after a wreck. Pre-wreck.
That's how you're going to grow. It's like I tell my kids.
You don't learn without wrecking.
No.
So until you're 40, go ahead and check yourself after you wreck yourself.
Agree. Otherwise, you're not going to
learn.
You're not going to learn.
Nothing happens. No
It's
growth.
True. Just consistently wreck yourself.
That's right. That's the first 28 years.
Yes.
It's like going on a bad day and you're like, let's just say he was constantly checking himself before he wrecked himself. I could have used a little bit more wreck than check, if you know what I mean. Okay, love, need. Where were we? Your dad. Oh, you got all 3 kinds of laughs.
Yeah.
I was checking myself before I wrecked myself. I know that kind, and I'm glad you're 6 years old and you're seeing that that's one of the ways it can go.
Yeah.
Is that like, it's almost worse than a bomb. Not to impose
1,000%.
more hurt than it needs, but it's like, oh, they're like pitying me or something.
Yes.
But the judges where it counts
Yes.
are laughing and your parents are beaming.
Yes.
I can't believe this. I
And
love this.
I actually would love to, because this judge, she was like I think a former beauty contestant herself. And she was such a classy lady. Like I could picture her, and it was like the classiest lady I've ever seen in New Jersey.
Can I say in the 80s was like peak classy lady?
Peak classy lady.
I don't see them like that anymore.
I don't know that they exist. And
Like the Maybelline ladies?
Oh, it's true. This woman had a sharp, crisp white collar under a blazer.
Oh.
Like I pictured her, you know, in like all those 80s movies, like if someone was classy and fancy or also a villain, they would just have like one piece of sushi on like a white plate for lunch.
Yes, dead.
And that's like always what I picture this
with
woman.
a mineral
like,
water.
Yes.
In a wine glass.
Exactly. Like a stark white kitchen. And that's what this woman was to me.
Yes,
That's
eating
it.
it very deliberately.
Yes.
Little
And then
wipes.
blood.
And I picture one string of pearls.
Yes.
Very classy.
Yes.
Now I feel like I feel this way about the men too. Like I thought, what's his name? Donald Glover was great as Lando Calrissian. But when I look at Lando in the early Star Wars. I'm like, that's a fucking man. And now I feel like me included, we all look like kids.
Winston and I talk about this a lot. I'm like, I still don't feel like, I'm like, oh, when am I going to be
cooked?
Yes.
When am I going to walk in a room and people will be like, oh, a fucking man is here? And I'm not talking about masculinity or decisiveness.
But like an adult.
I just mean like, look at a photograph and you go, there's an adult.
Right.
Because Donald Glover's a fucking adult. But when I saw him in that thing, I was like, just too small or something. Like Billy D had like a man stash or something. And Donald had a mustache too. Like it just looked different in the 80s.
And is it because, like, that's interesting. Is it because like they're of our gen? Like, are we not seeing it?
It has to be like how your SNL, when you were a teenager, that cast is always going to be your favorite cast.
Yes.
And those grown-ups are always going to be your grown-ups. Because for sure, as we're talking, there's some 8-year-old that's looking at Donald Glover and being like, when am I going to look like a man? And I'm like, we all look like we rode our BMXs to set.
Like, I sometimes wonder when like kids look, because I think I often confuse kids because I think when they first clock me, they're like, oh, you're one of us.
Yeah.
And then they like look a little more and they're like, yeah.
Check her hands. Are they sticky? No. She won't eat the paste. She's a grown up. Yeah.
Is she? Like, and I often wonder like what that is for, like when I don't think anyone would ever, there's no point in my life a little Melissa would look at me and be like, there's a classy lady.
Yeah, that's right.
It's never
And when I think of my mom wearing like a chunky amber necklace and like a white stiff shirt with a sweater over it, I'm like, there's a fucking woman.
Yeah.
That's a woman.
Yeah.
And Val and I go out to dinner and I'm like, I can't believe they didn't give us kids menus. Like we should be chicky fingies over here.
It's true. Winston and I, because we got together when we were 19. So whenever we would go into a restaurant, like, and they would give us like a crappy table, we'd always be like, they're totally treating us shitty because we look so young.
Yeah.
And now we've been together for over 20 years.
Wow.
And Winston recently was like, I think that, and I was like, we can't use that excuse anymore.
Hilarious.
They're not, it's just we're getting shitty treatment.
It just happens.
Yes.
Because sometimes you get shitty treatment.
Yes.
Sometimes you really are the person that gets
But I think we'll be doing that at 80. Like, I think we'll still be like,
and you'll be even
so
smaller.
I will. I am so scared. I'm just going to shrink into nothingness.
You're going to be a little Mr. Peanut.
I'm Thumbelina. I don't need a retirement plan. I'm just going to get a matchbox and just tuck me away.
And one match in there for safety. That's in case a moth comes by and you have to strike it on the side of the box. Get out of here, moth! Get out of here!
That's exactly what I'm going to say.
Yeah, of course.
That's my emergency plan.
Okay, we're on our way. Okay. You were 6. You killed it.
Did that.
We're building up to you're hooked. Now, what do? You have a good 7 years until your bar mitzvah.
So then just obsessed with comedy in every form. Like, really got into the old episodes of the Carol Burnett show.
Oh.
So like on that side of things, was very into Robin Williams stand-up.
Yep.
I
remember watching that being like, how is this happening?
On a Comic Relief.
Yes.
Like being so, that was my everything.
Yes. Yep.
I
remember finding out that he had set lists. Not in a bad way. Of course he did. But there was I'm embarrassed. It might be the book, How to Be a Working Comic, which I do not recommend.
Wait, who wrote that
It's
book?
like Dave Schlupp.
Yes,
and he's on the cover, he's
a-
like this.
Uh-huh.
And like, I remember, poor guy, Dave, thank you for writing that book. It was great. But there was a part where he wrote about one of his own bits and he was like, and that was just a life thing. And I got a killer bit out of it. And I'm like 12 and I'm like, that's your killer bit. Like I remember even at the time being like, Dave, no.
So you were reading, at that age,
I was also obsessed with comedy at that age. Yeah.
I wish little Pete and little Melissa could have been friends.
We would have been a power duo.
We would have. We could have taken it
like
on
George
the road.
Burns and
Gracie Allen.
Gracie, yeah, George and Gracie, of course. But I want business cards. Couldn't wait to have a business card.
Oh,
couldn't
I
wait
was
to have
obsessed with
headshots.
business cards. So what age for you did
I
it
wanted
start?
a 2-line phone. I used to put my friends on hold.
Stop.
Be like, I gotta go, and I put them on hold. I would
Just rolling calls.
I was just sitting there, then I'd take them off hold. Just power moves.
Did you really?
I couldn't
Amazing.
wait. I actually want to bring this back to you too, because like when we did the multicam that we were doing, I was like, this is exactly what I thought I would be doing. Like,
Wow.
even though I love doing the single cams and stuff, that
Yeah.
felt really cool, and I would love to do it again for sure. The multicam was when I was like, 12-year-old Pete is so happy that this
love
is real show
that.
business. Do you relate to that?
A million, yes.
Yeah.
Like a million times over. That was, I remember seeing, like, whenever a sitcom would end, they would sometimes show them all how they would come out for bows.
Yes.
On tape night.
Or the finale of Cosby Show where they
Yes.
dance off the stage. I was like, that's what it looks like.
Crazy.
Yes.
That I still actually, and I know this may sound very Pollyanna, but like I walk onto a sitcom set and I can't. I need to take a minute. Even in the stress of everything, like
Yeah.
there's a magic there.
You go in the fridge and there's a thing called beer. It just says beer on it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I've done it. I've made it. I made it to where the beer is.
Yes.
Like beer
Yes.
brand beer.
There's nothing that I love more than a prop food to remind me of the experience of where I am.
I'm dead.
Yeah.
And the prop department just flying in like a clean plate of fries. This sounds like I want to be doted on. That's not what it is. I
No.
love that there are almost like carnies in the good way, like just like theater
It's
folk.
the magic of what that is,
Yes.
and getting to actually see behind that curtain.
And the mix of you and I, who since we were 6 years old, were like razzle dazzle 'em, you
Yeah,
know?
totally.
And also guys that remind me of my dad, like the union guys that build the sets and
Yes. Mm-hmm.
strike the lights and all that sort of stuff. So you have this like confluence of flavors. It's not all just like razzle dazzle 'em with sparkly hats and
Totally.
stuff. It's also a guy with a cigarette that's like, Melissa, they need you on set. Like that is
Right.
fun. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is it.
It's fun.
It's all here.
It's true.
Yeah.
And there is like the multicam, and I being on single cam too, you get that. Of course, you're like, I'm in show business, wonderful. But they're doing a multicam. There's something because
You look up, there's no ceiling.
yeah,
And you're there.
it's true.
I've
it's
always
very cool.
Some people get sad. I didn't mean to cut you off,
No,
but yeah,
no.
like when you're shooting a single cam, you're in an apartment.
Yes.
It's just a real apartment.
Yes.
And you're shooting it. That's fine. When I would read the night court scripts and there'd be like some swing set, like a set that would only be used one day. And they just build, like
that
on How We
amazing?
Roll, they just build a baseball card shop.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where the fuck did this come from? And it looks, I'm not saying it looks like you could trick me, blindfold me and take me there and I'd be like, I'm in a baseball card shop. But
Totally.
it looks like a TV baseball
Yeah.
card shop. Like it
Yeah.
looks like a shoot this way, it'll look like a baseball
Isn't
card
that
shop.
amazing?
I love it so much.
And they build it in seconds.
Yes, and
in
they
the blink
take
of
it
an
down.
eye.
Even the impermanence of it delights me. It's like, and this will be gone.
Yeah.
This is gone. Where did we had a scene that was in a funeral home and they just brought in caskets. I'm like, you're telling me somewhere on the Warner Brothers lot there's just stored caskets?
It's unbelievable.
Or a bowling alley or
Yeah.
whatever? And the answer is yes.
Yeah.
That's what all those big Animaniac buildings are.
Yeah.
It's
That's
filled
right.
with barber shops.
just that
and
Warner Brothers water tower is just
Yes.
filled with props.
it's
Yeah.
overflowing with cowboy hats, giant toothbrushes.
You
Okay.
need a boa, it's in there.
You got me really excited. Forgive, I talk too much.
No, I love it.
Hit it. I just mean like we're
Okay, so
we're seven.
still doing
7
like,
years until you're
Yes, and still like I pushed it because I was still like looking for my fix. So then a few more beauty pageants, and then as I did, but then I started like as I got older, I really like my adolescent was awkward, like especially like the tween into like that was the cute at that point. I didn't even have that saving me.
You mean you had awkward years?
Oh, big time, big.
This explains a lot. Yeah,
Oh,
this explains
yeah.
a lot.
Really, really awkward.
Me too.
You too?
Oh my God. When I say rayon shirts and sweaty and I based my hair on Zach Morris, so it was like spiky in the front, but like I'd comb it down and it was rock hard. I was wearing cologne.
Wait, what? At what age and what
This
cologne
is like
was it?
seventh. Of course it was Dracar Noir. Don't even ask what it was. And of course I got like the Dracar Noir soap. Like the,
Oh,
like
because
they
it
come
came
in
with
sets.
it, as did the sunflower
that you
perfume.
get at
with the-
CVS.
Oh,
Just on those
awful.
old pharmacy things with all the dots in it.
Yeah. No, did they have to unlock it?
Oh shit, Melissa. Fuck.
What?
Oh no, that she's just telling me it's been. I was gonna look at my clock. Time is flying.
What time is it?
It's been 40 minutes.
Has it really?
We're gonna come back to what
Okay. And I'm
amazing
good till
dorks
like
we
12,
were.
15, 12, 20. Just know.
Okay, all right. Still, this is perfect for a mid roll.
Okay.
When we come back, we're going to talk more about being dorks, and of course,
Okay.
we're going to get into all the regular stuff. when we come back, it'll be more of this.
Great.
We'll be right back.
I'm excited
in
to be back.
60 seconds. Pardon the interruption, weirdos. This episode is brought to us by our friends at Mizzen and Main. Look, I changed. I threw on my Mizzen and Main dress shirt, which I absolutely love. I don't know if you know this. I'm not a huge fashion person, but of course I want to look good and I want to be comfortable and I don't want to devote my entire life to the pursuit of finding these things. So luckily, I found Mizzen and Main, which ticks all of those boxes. When I am touring, I want to be, first of all, I want to pack as little as possible so I can ideally just go with a carry-on. So I often am wearing what I'm going to wear on stage on the plane. The problem with that is dress shirts are usually stiff, hard, unforgiving, and uncomfortable, but you got to wear it on the plane, and it just doesn't feel right. Mizzen and Main has entered to save me from this problem. It's comfortable enough to wear on a plane and looks good enough to wear in front of hundreds of people when I'm performing, which is incredible. I'm tired of my old, stiff dress shirts. I want to look good on camera. I want to look good on stage, and I am a huge, huge fan of Mizzen and Main. You got to check them out. They are the inventors of the performance fabric dress shirt. Mizzen and Main combines the comfort and flexibility of your favorite athletic wear with the fit and style of a custom dress shirt, which means it's lightweight, it's breathable, and it's moisture wicking, which frankly, when I'm on stage, that's super important. Mizzen and Main's clothes will have you looking great. Basically, they make really comfortable dress shirts that you need to try to believe. The first time I tried it on, I had never put on a shirt like this that felt this good and looked this good. I can tell you firsthand that Mizzen and Main's dress shirts are actually the best dress shirts that I have ever worn. Probably the best part is that they are machine washable. That means no more expensive trips to the dry cleaner. Plus, for the cold weather, they've got amazing flannels, pants, sweaters, and jackets made from that same Mizzen and Main material that they are now famous for. And if somehow, after all this, you're still not a believer, they've got over 30,000 five-star reviews, so you know they're making a great product. So, when I was in Chicago, flying there, going on stage, wearing a nice shirt, looking good, being comfortable, Mizzen and Main literally has me covered. So if you wear dress shirts and don't wear Mizzen and Main, let me tell you, you're making a huge mistake. I have a bunch of their shirts. I have a bunch of their pants. Mizzen and Main is my go-to dress shirt. It's always such an inconvenience to go to the dry cleaner. I absolutely hate it. My clothes end up staying there sometimes for weeks because I can't find the time to go back. So the fact that these are machine washable are amazing. In and of itself, that is enough, but comfortable and look great. So if you want the best cold weather clothing this holiday season, check out Mizzen and Main. It's a great gift or a gift to give yourself. Right now, if you go to Mizzen and Main, MIZZENANDMAIN.com and use promo code WEIRD, you'll receive $25 off any regular price order of $130 or more, which means that's like $25 off when you go to mizzenandmain.com and use promo code WEIRD, MIZZENANDMAIN.com and use promo code WEIRD. Do yourself a favor. This show, You Made It Weird, is sponsored by BetterHelp. You guys know that I am a huge fan of talk therapy. It's absolutely transformed my life and changed it for the better. I often have wished, especially in my 20s and 30s, that I wish that life came with a user manual. Unfortunately, it doesn't. It doesn't come with a manual, so when it's not working for you, it's normal to feel stuck. I remember I first started going to therapy here in Los Angeles because I was going through a breakup and I just needed help. I needed guidance. I couldn't process it on my own, and that totally helped and changed my life because I needed to get out of that relationship. Navigating any of life's challenges, not just breakups, can make you feel unsure, whether it's a career change, love life, or becoming a parent. Therapists are trained to help you figure out the cause of challenging emotions and learn productive coping skills, which makes therapy the closest thing to a guided tour for the complex engine called you. And BetterHelp has connected over 3 million people with licensed therapists. It's convenient and accessible anywhere because it's 100% online. It is incredible to help with self-empowerment, dealing with trauma, dealing with uncopable, is that a word? Feelings, or in my case, decisions that you need to make big life changes. Having someone to talk to about it is way more effective than the sum of its parts. Meaning, talking to someone just seems like just talking to somebody, just spinning your wheels. It's absolutely not. you need another person there. You need a trained person there, somebody who can listen and guide you gently through the biggest moments of your life. So, as the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched, as I said, 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists available 100% online. Plus, it's affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. If things aren't clicking, easy. You can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. Couldn't be simpler, and removes any awkwardness. And speaking of awkwardness, no waiting rooms, no traffic, and no endless searching for the right therapist. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/weirdo. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/weirdo. Do yourself a favor, give yourself the love and support you need, and show your support of this show. All right, everybody, let's get back to Melissa. And we're back. Okay. So Drakkar Noir, soap, and body wash. Or what? I feel like there were a bunch of different things, but I was wearing that, slicked hair. I remember, this is a vulnerable memory, but I remember in 7th grade just sitting in the corner saying my phone number out loud.
What do you mean?
I'm so embarrassed.
Were you saying it so that people would be like, oh, I'm going to write that down?
Yeah, and call me. Because I was, again, a child of television. So I thought, like, girls having your number, like,
right.
It was totally misguided, but I was going 861-8909. Solid bit, but then maybe took it too far, just went too long. What was I thinking?
Did you get a call?
No! This was still the age.
Was it directed at anyone?
Well, yeah, there were I was in a small school and there were I feel like there were only like 5 girls and 5 boys. That's probably wrong, maybe 8 and 8.
Oh, wow.
But it was small.
Oh.
So everybody would pair off.
Okay.
And then there'd be like a few confirmed bachelors. And that was always me.
When was your first
date?
Yeah.
It was Valentine's Day, my senior year of high school.
Oh, gosh, I'm so sorry.
Is that her?
That's a terrible move.
No,
That's
please.
her right now. I'm so sorry.
No, don't even. Do you want to check it's not your?
It's not a child. It's no.
Okay.
Okay.
Hashtag parent life. I've answered my phone on stage.
Have
I've just
you?
been like, I just need to make sure it's not an emergency.
It's a total, it's a different ballgame.
I don't know what I would do. I guess I would leave. I'd get on a helicopter.
Was it in emergency situations when you answered it?
No, never.
Okay.
And then it's always, either way you win. It's either a funny bit that you answered the phone or it is an emergency. That's not a good situation, but at least you were available.
Right. That's true.
Yes.
That's true. That's win-win in that way.
Yeah, so small, and I swear to you, Melissa Rauch, when I was in 7th grade, I had I wish there was another example other than Woody Allen. I know that's a troubled person, but like I had the Woody Allen-ish perspective, the neurotic grown-up perspective of like,
interesting.
What are we gonna date? Like I really was like, what are we gonna do? I don't have any money. I don't have a car.
That's amazing.
I'd watch Saved by the Bell and they're all going to the Max and stuff. I'm like, there's no fucking Max. There's no Max restaurant.
So like on Valentine's Day, senior, where did you go?
Bertucci's.
I love Bertucci's.
Little olive in the center.
That's amazing.
Of the pizza, yeah. And all I remember from the date was when the bill came, and she was like a feminist kind of woman. And I remember the bill came and I slapped it. Like I couldn't wait to pay for it. Because that's all I knew.
Right,
Again,
like I'm going to be a
by
gentleman.
TV, at least I'm going to pay the bill.
What did she say?
She accepted it and was fine with it. But I wish I had just been like, you just don't know.
Yeah.
Although again, like that's my point.
Was that like your girl? Did she become your girlfriend or was it just a?
No.
Oh, Pete.
It's okay. I remember she went to the junior prom with someone else.
Oh, that's hard.
And went to the senior prom with me.
Oh, she went to the...
She did go to the senior prom with me, which was a big deal. And I've told this story before, and there were only 3 slow songs at my senior prom. 3. That's ridiculous. The rest of the time, we're just like... We don't know how to dance. It was so awkward. So there was a slow song came on. I stood up and ran looking for her because I was sitting by the side, of course. And I'm looking for her, and she saw this other guy and was like, "Hey," and she gave them this big hug, and then they danced, and then I just like walked away awkwardly.
Oh, Pete.
And they're married now.
What? What? No way. Well,
And
you know
they're
what?
married. And I think they're happy.
Comfort, at least in that at least
yes.
it was.
It wasn't just anybody.
right.
It was who she should have been at the prom.
Wow, that's amazing.
I just like the slow rotating hug. That's a dance that I
Yeah.
was always more comfortable with.
And when did your height kick in? Were you
I was tall then.
okay?
And then when I got to college, and I'm going to turn this back around to you, Rauch Pouch, because you are too delightful. And you're
No,
trying
I want to know because like the dancing, you know, when you where
Oh,
you did
yeah.
the hand
well,
placement.
when I got to college, I remember like the tallest girl in school asked me to a dance, but then I spent the whole dance with this other girl who wasn't tall. Poor tall person. Like, where was I? I just went away. I was too shy. Again, even in college, I was like,
Really?
what are we going to do? Like, I just had like that Seinfeldy, like, I felt like dating was for like people in their 20s that have cars
Right.
and
Like a real
keys.
person.
A real person.
Yeah.
Not kids. I also like, even though I was like sexually awakened, like puberty, I wasn't like, what am I, these people are like 19.
I
like they were
love-
we felt like kids.
Yeah,
I felt like a
you
kid.
were.
They felt like a kid.
I love that you had that perspective.
It was weird. And then I saw the other kids that were like, nah, man, I'm
in it.
going for it.
But
I'm
you're
like,
an old
this is
soul, so
weird.
you were like, it was like you were coming back again. You're like, okay,
Yes.
I've been here. I gotta just wait for the right
Just-
time. This is a waste of my
I was waiting
time.
for my real life to begin the whole
Yeah.
time. I was like, this is how I'm going to put it back to you because I bet this will spark something. I just couldn't wait to be an age, which is like 33, where you could be a cop in a movie, you could be a lawyer
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
movie, you could be a husband, a father. You know what I mean? Like all of these different roles. I just wanted to be the age where you could
So
be
interesting.
anything instead of the age where you can only be one thing, which is a junior high kid that's like,
Right.
oh, I pooped my pants. Like, get the fuck out of here.
But you were wanting to be an actor. at that
Yes.
age. Wow.
And I used to, and do you relate to that? I used to be in a vivid memory. I'd be in a parking lot. My parents and I had just had dinner, the whole family. And I'm just looking at the parking lot, thinking of the million movies that you could shoot in this parking lot and how perfect it was.
Yeah.
Like this railing, and not even from a cinematography standpoint, just like imagine when I have a car and a camera, I can come here and just shoot this. I'm always
Yes.
trying to get back in touch with that part of me.
yes.
Just the innocence.
Yes.
You know? So you were obviously that way too.
completely. And like and it was always this like, okay, we're going to do it this way. We're going to do things on an amateur level now until I get to do it for real.
Yes.
Because my brother wanted to do it also. So we would just do shows in the basement like every day after school.
Camcorder?
Camcorder, big time camcorder. Horror movies, lots of horror movies on the camcorder because my brother loved them. And then
Oh, this little
many
alliance.
dramatic turns from me, like
Twists.
lots of twists. Me very much like with the fans blowing in my face, like no, go away. That style, and I would
Stark
very
light over you know how they put a brighter
Yes,
light over
yes.
your eyes?
no. And I really, and even at that age, I was like, well, I need to, like, I have to show that I have this other side of me because I'm letting everyone know, like, that I'm a comedian.
They know
But
I'm a
this-
comedian.
But
You're
this
like
will
Martin
show.
Short. Like Martin Short was like that.
Yes, I remember. Yes,
I
very
don't
much.
want my horror career to overshadow my
Did he say-
comedy career. He would say things like
I
that when
love
he was
that.
that age. Yeah. And
Really?
you were that way too. You're
Yes.
like, I need to diversify.
Totally.
I don't
And
want
so,
to be
like,
pigeonholed.
Yes, and very much like because everyone knew me, quote unquote, for my impressions in
Yes,
town.
yes.
So when we did the horror movies, I was like, I have to show that I'm not just.
I'm so much more than impressions.
Yes, I could do more. So my
You were Kevin Hart when you were 12.
I've been chasing it for my whole life. I'm still not
Yes.
there. But my brother was a big influence because he was like my first director, and we would come home every day after school and rehearse.
Wow.
And I don't know, like he ran a tight ship. Kids in the neighborhood dropped off because they were like, this is too intense.
Really?
Because we had like a company. It was called Dance-A-Mania Productions, and we would do one musical a year. People got mad that I was always cast as lead. I was like, well, it's my house, and my brother's the director of the company.
And
So
we don't
deal
know the
with
word
it.
nepotism. So
Exactly. So deal.
I don't even know what I'm saying right now. Nepotism. I don't know what that means.
Who taught me that? And he was so, the productions he would put on, like really like good production value. We did Grease, and we had a toy car that he spray painted as Grease Lightning. It was really great.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was very much like,
I love that you had this partner.
he was the best.
Yeah.
Like, and so he's such a he's a creative genius. So he would do these full scale productions in my parents' basement that I got to be a part of.
Wow.
And I really jumped on board. It was really him doing it that I was like, I'm gonna.
I hope this isn't weird. It is the name of the show, but it's like I find it fitting then that you fell in love with Winston, who's also creative. Because I love my brother-in-law. He's hilarious. He's creative. He would do all the stuff you're talking about with Val. So of course she was drawn to a comedian. You know what I mean? Like, and I
love that.
So like I see that.
Yeah.
Once you have a silly Billy,
totally,
who says yes and a partner and wants to do things and isn't just embarrassed. Like I love my brother to death, but he was so embarrassed.
Oh wow.
We both kind of were.
Yeah.
There's a lot of embarrassment to get over. So when I met those yes people, I was
you
like,
just want more of
it. Are
it.
you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like I said, do you want to do improv games? And you said yes. And now we're doing them?
Yeah.
As opposed to, again, my brother's done a lot of work and he's changed. He's a much more yes of a person now, a million times, and we have a great relationship. But when we were, I'd say this if he was in the room, when we were like 15 and 13, and I was like, I'm a pirate, he'd be like, oh, of course.
Yeah.
He just wanted to be cool.
And when did that change for him?
Honestly, recently. I mean,
Really?
he moved out here to do comedy, and I think when he saw how, I'm not sure about this, but I think when he saw how uncool, comedy isn't cool. It's like Steve Martin's comedy isn't pretty. It's like, it's also not cool. It's not cool to eat shit and like drive to a biker bar in Peoria, Illinois and do badly. That's not cool. You see like Aziz in his suits and private jet or whatever. It's like, you think that's it and it's not. It's so much more, like even on Night Court, we're like trying dumb stuff, like to see where it is. That's not really cool. It's cool to like, already know what the thing is.
Right.
Like I was thinking your character on Big Bang is, I really mean this, like what a bold choice. And I know how scary choices are. That's the opposite of cool. What if you had made that choice and people were like, Melissa, what are you doing?
Totally,
like that's humiliation that most people guard against so firmly that they'd never even.
That is, don't you think there is a certain personality type that I feel like goes into this, because it's a constant rejection and a constant humiliation.
Constant. Go ahead.
And I feel like is there a screw loose that you're like, or is it you love it so much that you're willing to sacrifice the embarrassment for it?
Okay. I'm going to go, and because I could see screw loose and be like, it's actually worse. It's a screw that we can't reach. So we need someone else to reach in and tighten
interesting.
it. So that's like the audience or the director or the writer or whatever. I'll give you that. But I'll also give you, Val and I were just talking about this, and it'll blow your mind. Like it blew my mind. It's like most people would rather avoid pain rather than pursue pleasure. So, but what happens is, I'll give you an example. You're in a terrible relationship. They want to move to Phoenix and your family's all in Temecula. I don't know. I'm just saying like, you don't want to do it, but it's too painful to tell them no or stand up for yourself or whatever it may be. So you avoid that short-term pain, but then it leads to 20 years of pain.
Wow.
As opposed to just getting one lump sum of pain, one afternoon, one long weekend of pain to avoid 9 years of pain. Similarly, in comedy, you eat shit for 10 years. It's probably going to be about 10 years. But then you get 50 years of being good at comedy. And you avoid all of it. It's like this, I don't want to call it wisdom because I didn't think I was doing it consciously, but there is a wisdom to it. It's like, I know pain is part of this, so I'm going to control it and I'm going to go get it as opposed to waiting for it to get me and just doing everything I can to like dodge the Matrix bullets. I'm going to let some of them hit me because every person that's ever lived tells you that like the path is covered in thorns and thistles. So I'm just going to go through the thorns and thistles now, get my pain out of the way, and then have, like, my life is not that interesting now. It's because my origin story was all pain. But so many people will go like, I'd like to do comedy, but open mics seem too painful. Yeah, you're fucking right. You know what else sucks? 50 years of wondering if you would have enjoyed it or been good at it.
That's
so much more
That's
pain.
a beautiful way of putting it. That is so
Right?
true. And let me ask you something. When you were going through it, when you were doing it, how painful did it feel? Is it now looking back that you're like, whoa, that was really hard?
It's more that.
Yeah.
Because did you romanticize it even when it was happening?
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah.
I was like,
big time. Like this
sucks.
is so totally but so excited by it.
I couldn't believe that I was performing in New York City.
Same.
I couldn't believe that where the subways were,
Yes.
I was on stage.
I couldn't agree more.
And near me eating shit was Jerry Seinfeld in my
Yes.
mind. He was somewhere out there. Chappelle was somewhere out there.
Absolutely.
And I'm in the same city.
Yes.
Totally bought into all of it.
Same. And it felt like I was so close to the pulse of it. Even
Yes.
like in the back of a hamburger restaurant where there was an open mic. I remember writing in my journal, like so excited and talking about, and this person got up and then I did these jokes and documenting just the excitement of that. And I feel like there's, which really, it obviously helps. That's the engine that keeps you going, is the fact that you're able to romanticize it as
And that you
it's
actually
happening.
like it. You actually, you're not pretending to like it.
Yes.
And this is why, wow, we haven't had a good comedy chat in a while, but like on this podcast. But like the people that you knew were doing it because they wanted to be rich or famous or to meet sexual partners. It just didn't ring the same way.
Yeah.
That wasn't my scene. We were the fruit on the bottom yogurt boys. You know what I mean? Just like the weird lunchbox
Yes.
boys. I just mean like you open it up and you smell their weird food and we're just like, we love comedy. Like that's what was happening.
Yeah.
And like a lot of those people became, clean, wearing suits and selling out theaters and stuff. But like at the time, you could smell the people that wanted to be Carson Daly
Yeah.
100 miles away.
That's very, very
Nothing wrong
true.
with Carson Daly. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like celebrities.
That you're chasing it for a different reason.
Yes.
That there's
What is he? He's a pop figure. What do you call Carson Daly?
a host.
Like a host.
Host.
But like his job is to be like famous. I don't know.
Yeah.
He is a good host. I'm
But I
not
think
even
there's-
shitting on him. I'm just saying like there are people that are like, I want to be.
I think there's more of there's an end gaming mentality of like, here is what I hope this gets me.
as opposed to
Like,
I can't believe you took me back to a Thai restaurant where I'm like, I went up.
Yeah. Was this the place I feel like on like 20 something street?
I was so new to the city,
Okay.
I couldn't even tell you what neighborhood or what borough I was
Okay.
in. Like I just got there, scared on the train.
Uh-huh.
I don't mean to over romanticize it, but I remember being like, I'm trying to get to Christopher Street. Does the two? And people would always help you, like, you got to get
Yeah.
off here and take that one. And I remember, and I tell people this all the time, I'm like, if you're from another city, Jersey or whatever, that's your credit. Because I would be
Yes.
like, I'm fresh from Chicago. Like
my
that was like,
gosh,
this guy
yes.
arrived by aeroplane.
Yes.
And like that was your allure, your mystique or whatever. And then I realized I'd been doing comedy for 3 years in Chicago and I'm like, no one here knows any of my bits. So I'm like, I have 7 5-minute sets that everyone's going to think I'm like the most prolific person
I
in the
didn't
world.
realize that. I didn't realize you started there.
In Chicago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there for 3 years. And then, and we got to talk about
Whoa.
this, I moved to New York, and I'm only saying this to put it to you, honest to goodness. Moved to New York with my ex-wife. She starts teaching at school. She very graciously, and we were both in agreement, no straight job. I'm not gonna have a backup job.
Wow.
Like, I'm just gonna focus 100% because I'm sort of like a one thing a day person.
Got it.
And if I'm, you have to get over that for a lot of your life. But now I recognize that. What I'm saying is, I know if I'm tired, I won't go to a show to just watch, or I won't go to a mic. Like, I was just too gentle. I'm like, I gotta
Yeah.
work in the morning. I
Right.
can't be out at 11.
Oh, totally.
So
totally.
I was like, no job. And then it was like 6 weeks or something later, Jessie Klein saw me at Rafifi and I emailed her and I got on Best Week Ever. How did it happen for you?
Wow. Wait, one question. So how long had you been doing stand up in New York before she saw you at that for Best Week Ever?
By the way, I'm not sure if it was 6 weeks or maybe I feel like it was less than 2 months for sure.
That's amazing.
But like, I was reading where would they list the mics and stuff?
The Village
Voice. And one of them was like, just Jesse Klein and Nick Kroll roast the happening. It was called Welcome to Our Week.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, they roast and I'm picturing it like a studio, like, and I get there, it's just a bar and a video store, basically. But I was like you, stars in my eyes, couldn't believe, this is before Nick or Jesse had done anything, but I was like, Nick Kroll, I saw his name in the Village Voice. Like that was the credit. Did the show. That story, we don't have that much time left. Who got you on Best Week Ever? How did that happen?
So I was working at a sports bar on the Upper East Side, and a friend of mine from college was dating a guy who was a producer on Best Week Ever, I believe. And she had come to my bringer shows a bunch all throughout college, and she knew that I was sort of in a grind. And I said to her, would it be okay if I got you a VHS of my stand-up to get to him? And she was like,
this is everything.
Yeah.
I picture you in a red striped referee's jersey and an apron. Were you a waitress?
I was a waitress for years. And it was, this was my bread and butter for through college up until I moved to LA.
Same. Waiting tables is show business.
It's show business.
It's little sets.
Totally. And they should offer waiting tables classes as a part of acting because it's so.
I agree.
They go hand in hand. And I remember it was like a huge
That's a
New
great
York.
idea, by the way. There should be classes.
There should be.
Why do you have to just figure it out over years?
Absolutely.
Like,
I have to say, my first job was at Johnny Rockets, and they sort of give you
training.
Like it was sort of like Burger College, but like we had like hold the tray like this.
Yes.
Which was very helpful. But you're right. There should be.
No, you slowly put it together.
Yeah.
It took me a long time. I could tell you a lot of Bennigan stories about moments where I failed. Of course I did. Look at my face.
I want to go to a Bennigan and have Pete Holmes wait him. I bet you were an amazing waiter.
Okay, give me Donald Glover's mustache, and I'll go incognito back in time, and my name tag said Moose, and have me wait on the table, and you, and we'll wear hats
is great.
like Captain America and Scarlett Johansson in our incognito looks. I would love to see what I was like. I bet I was a lot for some people, like a little too much.
I bet you had repeat customers. I want that guy again. He made us laugh.
My best story was we would get a lot of kids, like young teenagers, that would come in and they didn't tip. And I would pride myself on giving good service to the people that I knew weren't going to tip me. And I'll never forget this one kid was like, "You're the best waiter we've ever had." Like that was like killing.
Wow.
Wasn't that I made them laugh?
Yeah.
It's that like I stayed on top of it.
That's amazing.
And I think they tipped me like $3 or whatever. It didn't matter.
But that compliment,
it mattered so much. And I think he even said like, we come here a lot and people are usually like really shitty to us. And I was like, but I also have a lot of stories where I remember an older lesbian couple wrote a letter to me about how the line was, "Your reaction over the baked potato soup left much to be desired." And they tipped me like 80 cents.
Whoa.
I was like, lady,
Not okay.
I'm of the opinion, even if it sucks, you still tip them. You still
totally.
I sometimes tip more to be like, fuck
you're having,
you.
Yes.
Or you're having a bad day. You're having a bad day.
I still remember the guy, and I know his name. I won't say it because I guess I could be sued for slander, who gave me, I went above and beyond at this restaurant. He didn't like the meal.
This was a celebrity?
It wasn't.
Oh.
It wasn't. It was just a guy, and I know his name. I memorized it from the credit card, who wrote in 00 on the credit card slip. Because the restaurant wouldn't let me comp his meal, but I was like, I could get you a free dessert. Because he didn't like it after he cleared his plate, and he left and then gave me the finger through the window.
I'm dead.
Yeah. And I still, for years,
of course,
repeat his name in my head.
That couple that wrote, they wrote in like shaky cursive. I was wrong. You know what? They said they were like they stuck their spoon in the soup and it was standing up, like it came out like it had been sitting under a heat lamp or something.
Oh.
And I was so new, no waiter school, that I didn't go, "Let me get you another one." Of course, like soup. I could get it myself. But I just went, "That's how it comes out sometimes." I just walked away. So they were wrong, but
don't.
like, that was an opportunity. How many opportunities do you get in a day to be like graceful? I don't mean like elegant. I mean like have grace, have understanding.
Yes.
And just take one, by the way, maybe don't tip. Maybe tell me like, it doesn't matter. I can see it from every side.
But
it
it
is a
on
missed opportunity to be a little Santa Claus.
Maybe they should have checked themselves after the wrecking.
Maybe they're somewhere hosting their own podcast
They
going
are
like,
right
when
now.
Moose waited on us, I think
should
about
have
my
done
shaky
that.
cursive handwriting. Hate is too strong a word, but I hate that guy. Like, that guy sucks. But also what was going through his life.
Yeah.
Something I try to remember every morning is I got it from Father Greg Boyle, who writes these incredible books. And I go, I'm not going to return hurt with hurt. So like,
I like that.
He's like hurt.
Yes.
Something's wrong.
That was
He's giving
he
you
was
the
a hurting
finger.
Gave me through the
He's not having a
restaurant
great
window.
day.
Yeah.
Like, he's trying to win it back. We
That's
always say
true.
he's losing at the casino. He's trying to win it back at the buffet. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's what Nate Craig had this great bit where he
Yes,
said
that's
that.
so
So he's
true.
giving you the finger because he's been so broken and belittled. And he's so sad. He's probably afraid that he's gonna die. He's his meal. Like you're his mom in that moment. Like, you made me my meal, mommy, and it sucks. Why won't you pick me
I wish I
up?
had the wherewithal at the time to have said that rather than crumbling in the corner of
But
it.
you wrecked yourself.
Yeah.
And now we're checking yourself.
That's it.
And that's the way.
That's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it. Okay, so VHS tape.
Okay, so VHS. I remember it was a snowstorm on a Sunday.
Just checking the time, Melissa. Don't want to.
Okay.
Don't want to go long.
It was so this sports bar, like during football season, we'd be packed. And that was like, I would bank the money for my rent and stuff. But certain weeks, if there wasn't a game, it would be dead. And this day, it happened to be dead. It was a major snowstorm outside. No one was there. It was me and the bartender. My friend was like, he may be leaving this job. You have to get him this VHS.
Whoa.
This week. So I asked the bar, I'm like, can you cover me? There's here. And I went in the snowstorm because they live not too far, just literally trudging in the snow with my VHS tape, ran it up to their apartment, and then ran back to waiting tables.
This is like
It was
hero's
crazy.
journey stuff. It's like,
And I remember
gotta
being like,
go.
and I gotta remember, like, I have to say, I was aware, like, in the moment,
You knew.
I was like, I want to tell this story. So I remember going.
Yes.
But I was also like, this is my shot. Like, there was really, I had no leads. I was doing stand-up wherever I could. I was doing theater, like in the back of laundromats or wherever I could. But there was I didn't have an agent. I was getting rejected from every agency. The manager that I got from like my showcase in college had like stopped, like her whole like company went under. So there was no bites. And so this was like, I potentially have a lead. And I ran it upstairs to their apartment, and she was like, okay, well, hopefully, he'll be able to pass along. And it took weeks and weeks and weeks. Then I got a phone call and they said, we want to bring you in for
The show.
yeah. And I
know it happened, but I'm still shocked.
So excited.
Because that never happens.
Never happens.
Like, you, in that story, we know most of those stories end with, and I never heard.
Yeah.
And if your brain is nice, it just sort of deletes those stories.
That's true.
So you don't get too disheartened. Oh, tell the people, I love that. I want to go back to that exact moment. But tell the people about you getting mad at your parents. Do you remember you told me?
So this was around the same time. It was probably maybe even a week within each other because it was at the same bar. And I was just having so much trouble like putting my rent together every month. And they, and same, like I was saying, like so hard to get someone who really believed in me. Winston, my husband, was my fake manager at the time. He would pose as my manager. We got the breakdowns illegally, and he would submit me for things and call, and I would call as my fake manager to get me in on auditions. I had some of my best auditions from this fake management company, but I couldn't.
And also some of your best work being the fake manager.
Exactly.
It's Victoria,
Totally.
darling. Melissa Rauch, have you ever heard
She's
of her?
amazing. She's a star.
And they're like, do you have any, we actually need a guy. Oh, yes. I'm sorry, I'm going through a tunnel.
That's all we have.
Sorry, it's a one client.
We believe in her so
lean.
much, we want to devote all our time to her.
Yeah, she's the only one you need.
And what was terrible about that was because I'm such a, like, I don't lie because it creates, there's moral implications, but I feel too much guilt
Yeah.
and I worry too much that I can't do it.
And you
It
have
will
to keep
break
it
me.
up.
So part of this was when I would go to auditions.
I never cheat. It seems like
No, it's
so much effort for what?
so-
7 minutes?
Yeah, no.
7 minutes of sex?
No.
And then months of like, I was Joe DeRosa's birthday. But he Instagrammed that he's in Hawaii. No, I didn't go. I didn't go to his birthday. I was shopping. Like for sex.
No.
I don't like sex that much.
No,
I
I'm
like being nice and relaxed.
Too anxious of a person could not do it.
Death.
And going into audition and then being like, so who's this manager? And then it was just, panic that I had to lie to these people that it's not a real manager, which is also, so anyway.
Hilarious.
So around that same
But
time.
you needed that lie. That was a good lie.
I had to do it.
Yeah.
My mom, who I talked to pretty much every day,
Cute.
I couldn't afford my cell phone at the time, so I was on a payphone. I like home. This is signal for payphone. Payphone.
Stand-up payphone.
Stand-up
Improv payphone. Stand-up payphone.
That's it.
Hello? Improv.
Could you hear me?
Improv?
And
Hello,
who
I'm
is
calling
it?
a stand-up. This is real stand-up.
Hello?
Hello? Improv?
That's Star Search. That's Star Search.
That
phone.
is Ed McMahon calling. You okay? So you're on a disgusting payphone.
On a
that's
disgusting
covered
payphone
in
and telling my mom,
COVID-13.
like, I haven't, I can't, couldn't get in for like just circling my backstage auditions and trying to get in. And I remember saying to my mom, this is so awful. Why didn't you force me to have a back? Like, how did you let me follow my dreams?
Yeah.
And sobbing to her.
On a payphone,
On a
very
payphone.
New York.
Very
There's a
New
guy
York.
with a pigeon on his head. The pigeon's on fire. He's like, "Are you going to be much longer?" Just give me a second. My dreams are collapsing.
I'm blaming my mother for
But
my
you
existence.
said, "How dare you let me pursue my dream?"
Yeah. And my mom, I remember her laughing and saying it's going to be okay.
Wow.
But I was like, and tell dad the same thing.
Pass along the message.
That I'm mad.
He gets like one of those old notes. While you were away, your daughter called. She's furious.
She's not going to talk.
Why
Yeah.
didn't you tell me to become a dentist?
Because they were very much similar to the plan that you had of, they were like, do not pick a backup career. You're going to end up doing that. I was like, so you paid for an education for me.
Yes.
That is just this business where I have nothing else to fall back on.
I love it, and the tape worked. I'm just checking the time. If you feel me kind of going into
Okay.
that landing, like we're at a cruising altitude. We've begun our initial descent. We're about to end.
Which can I just say,
Yeah.
since we spoke about, you said the plane, I just want to tell the listeners, the first time I met you was on a plane, going to a Best Week Ever live tour.
Yeah.
And you, and I said this to you recently, but I need to say it for the public.
On the record.
The kindest soul. In addition to being so funny, I just remember feeling, because, you're traveling together,
You were
like these
nervous
weird,
too.
but
New thing.
so just pure goodness.
Oh, that's so nice.
That was just coming like at me from the seat next to me. And I remember thinking like, because this business can be so hard and awful.
and lonely.
And just that I felt in that moment, like, this is such a wonderful human. And then you got on stage and were just so funny too. But it was just that, I feel like those times in that struggling time when you connect with someone that gives you a little boost.
Little outposts.
Yeah.
You're on a long, lonely road.
Yeah, it's like that little bit of Gatorade along the way to like get you through.
Well, thank you for saying that. As you were starting, I don't know if you're this way. I'm always worried that it's going to be like, and you wouldn't stop doing bits the whole flight. I was trying to take a nap. Because I remember being on that tour, same tour, and Aziz was sitting in front of me. And like MP3s had just become a thing. And oh man, it's so... I just feel for little Pete, even though he's probably 26. But like, I was asking Aziz, like, which Radiohead albums should I get? Like, I wanted to be a cool boy. And I was like, should I get OK Computer? And he was like clearly annoyed. He was like, yeah, man, sure. Like trying to sleep. I'm saying I was being annoying. And I was like, what about Fiona Apple? It's like, whatever, man.
And you see, I think I was that with you.
No, I doubt it.
I do.
Because
I
I wouldn't have clocked that. That my anxiety or whatever turns into that sort of effervescent.
Oh, interesting.
Nice.
Because you were you were working on a New Yorker cartoon, and I remember being like, "What's that?"
Yes, I remember this.
And it was amazing.
Oh, thank you. That was at that time in my life. I also used to do reverse caption contests. I would be like, the caption is I'll have what she's having. What's the drawing? And Jessica St. Clair would play it with me. I was just like
love
so
that.
doe-eyed and sweet, but like, meaning it was a sweet time. I remember games I still play, like pretend you're, we'd call it fake ups, like pretend you're asleep and then wake up. And I remember, and no offense to him, but Judah Friedlander wouldn't do it. Like Jessica St. Clair did it. It's such a fun, you know.
That's fun.
And she was like, "You're smiling. Like, do you smile when you sleep?" Because I was having so much fun. I'd be like, "I'm gonna go now."
Oh,
And then Judah Friedlander was like, "No, I'm
That's
not gonna go." And I was like,
amazing.
"Wow, there's like different
yeah. St.
kinds
Clair
of comedians."
I became best friends with St. Clair from the Best Week Ever tour.
I wish I had become best friends with her because I still love her to death. But like, she was my Gatorade. You were
Yes.
certainly my Gatorade, and those other people weren't not Gatorade.
Yeah, no,
But you know,
totally.
like attracts like, and there's a certain, like we're
Yeah.
saying, our pasts are similar, and I see it in you now, and I feel like we're camcorder kids, we're like musical, we're Star
Can we
Search
make
kids.
one? Would you make a horror movie with me?
Of course. Look, we have 3 cameras.
We could do
Can
it.
you imagine how fun that would be?
That would be so fun.
I used to have all that. Halloween was when I'm sure your brother was the same.
Yeah.
Do all your blood shopping now.
Oh, stop.
Or really wait until
We
November
had a
and
sleepover
get it on
party.
clearance.
My house that when everyone was sleeping, we put the horror makeup on the kids. And now as a mom, I'm
Yeah, of course.
horrified.
Yeah.
But they woke up in the morning to
And had
just
blood on
bloody
it.
faces, and no one was allowed to come to our house.
That is fantastic. Okay, we have 4 minutes. Here's my last question, although I feel like we could talk for 9
I
years.
really want
We'll just
to.
do it again sometime.
Can I please come
Yeah,
back? I wanna talk to you
Absolutely.
more and
There's
more.
so much to cover.
Okay.
But I said to Katie, I was like, I'm kind of glad it's going to have that like urgency.
Okay, good.
Like we're going to do
Okay.
it in just it's like hour 20, whatever. Perfect. Can you tell me any time in your life where you laughed really, 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 really hard? And I always say this, it doesn't have to be a good story. Like I open the door and there's Don Knotts. Like it does not that. But maybe you're with Winston, maybe you're with your brother. A time in your life where you were just crying, laughing. It doesn't even have to make sense. Maybe somebody fell, maybe somebody farted. Like these are often
I
where
have
the
to say
stories go.
it was before Winston and I got together. It was the moment that I knew that I wanted to be with him.
I love it.
We were friends through college, and we were writing partners through college, and then we went a group of us from school went on a trip, and it was right before Halloween, and we were just sitting. It was late at night. We were sitting on a bench, and everyone who walked by, he was pretending that they were in a Halloween costume, but it was a half-finished Halloween costume.
Oh my God.
So, and he would just describe what it was and then just be like, "Come on, man, finish the costume." And it was brilliant. And it
That's
went
a great
on
bit.
we must have been for an hour, and all of us just sitting around and I remembered that feeling where you're just doubled over crying, laughing.
Dead.
And that was it.
I told you, I was just in, did I tell you? I was just in New Mexico. Yes,
Uh-huh.
earlier. It was like 3 hours ago. And I saw a guy dressed like a cowboy. And I was like, this looks like he's in a costume.
That's
Like he was kind of too new. It was too new. It wasn't like rugged.
but it was his style.
It was just how he
That's
get.
it.
And you know what? I'm wearing a costume too, but he really looked like he was wearing a costume. Like he could have seamlessly walked into a costume party where it
That's-
says like costumes mandatory. He'd have been
Just-
fine.
See, I really envy that, because if that's your thing every day,
Yeah.
you just know, okay, I'm gonna giddy up and put my
That's right.
Did he have a full hat, or was
Oh
it?
yeah, and the mustache. He was everything.
Wow.
He pretty much had a lasso. Like he was inches to a lasso. I bet TSA took his lasso. Like that's why he didn't have it. He did bring it.
Incredible. What's the age on this dude?
Unageable. He
Really?
could have been 45 to 55, I would say.
Like Peter Pan Holmes.
Like Peter Pan Holmes. And a callback right at the buzzer. Rauch Pouch, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was awesome. We have to watch Night Court. Anything else
Yes.
you want to promote?
Oh, just how much I love Pete Holmes and talking to Pete Holmes.
I love
Oh,
talking
my
to you
charity,
too.
Oscars Kids, if you want to take a look at that.
Yeah, okay. Oscars
That'd be-
Kids.
Oscars Kids,
Is there a website?
oscarskids.org. It's
Can
a
you do it
pediatric.
through PayPal?
Yes, pediatric cancer. Not through PayPal, but the website has donations, but it's oscarskids.org. And it's a pediatric cancer charity.
I love
that means a lot to me.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Pouch. Would you say keep it crispy? It's just a sign off. It doesn't mean
Yeah.
anything really.
I want to know the history of that. Keep it crispy.
You do love show business.
I do.
You love it.
Are
We
you-
both just loved show business for an hour and a half.
You asking me to say keep it crispy.
Yeah.
Ignited
Yes.
7-year-old Melissa in a way that was so exciting, so thrilling. Thank
Our
you
whole
for
life
that.
we just wanted to be asked, like, will you say the catchphrase?
Yes.
It's like, are you kidding me? I
Thank you.
enjoyed
This
this
was
more
joy.
than one we've done in a long time. That's not to put down
thank
anybody.
you.
I'm just saying this was an extra special one.
Thank
Thank you for doing
That's
it.
how I feel.
All right.
This was
Bye,
awesome.
everybody.
Bye. Bye.
You made it weird. You made it weird.